Hey guys, JP here. My guests today are Johnsteven Diaz and Miss Valerie Reiffert from Radical Registrars, which is based in San Antonio. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And we were supposed to have Mr. Patrick Nunez, but there was a change of plan. All of that today on TJPS. Roll the intro. How you guys doing? Thank you guys for being here.
Oh, we're doing great tonight.
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me.
My first question was going to be why it's important to vote, but we'll save that for later. But I know Miss Rayford is from Radical Registrars, and we'll start from there. Please tell us about Radical Registrars. We know it's based in San Antonio, and what's the aim of it? So please tell us all about Radical Registrars.
Yeah, so we all came together at the protest actually for George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. We went out there. I went out there for the first time on June 1st, and I was like, there's so many people out here. Somebody should be getting them registered to vote. Yeah. I went and got deputized on Wednesday, June 3rd, and went back out to the protest later that day, or actually immediately after I was deputized. And that's where I saw Cameron and Amy and Dana getting people registered to vote out there. And then I just joined them, and honestly, Radical Registrars just formed from there.
Oh, wow. I see. And how did you, Johnsteven, got involved? Just like, how'd you get involved with the Radical Registrars?
Yeah, so I had met Valerie during the protesting, and then maybe less than a month ago, then just seeing what she would post, seeing her being real active at the community and getting people to register to vote, then I'm like, you know what? She's like my motivator right now. She's my mentor.
Like, okay, I'll join.
Mentor, and yeah. So it was the last Saturday. So I didn't know you were supposed to sign up ahead of time. So I showed up as a walk-in, finessed it, did the oath, everything. It was for real, and then I got minimum 5 or more people registered to vote.
Oh,
ever since that day till now.
That's cool.
He is a part of Radical Registrars, and he was a part of us. We got over 1,000 people registered to vote since June, and
That's
I started keeping track for the last month from September 7th till October 5th, and we got almost 300 people to register to vote in that last month. We were at 295.
That's cool. I mean, keep it coming, especially like because as we all know, election is November 3rd. But man, keep it coming from what I'm just hearing a few minutes in right now. So that's very impressive. I got to tell you.
Thank you.
I want to get y'all's thoughts about the debate, if I may. Well, they ended up having a town hall after the first one they had, because Trump had COVID, but he wasn't wearing mask on his first rally back. But the question there being, do y'all think town halls are going to be more effective than traditional debate, other than what we saw in the first debate? Y'all's thoughts on that?
Okay. So I guess I'll go first. Okay. So I think ever since we got the Zooms now for school and for relay services and all that, it's gonna become like a norm. Mm-hmm. So especially they're gonna do virtual now, and if you do virtual, then it's easier for a greater audience to watch, because not everybody's on TVs anymore watching TV and cable. Mm-hmm. So everybody's on their phones or their devices and live streaming and all that. So I do see it's gonna be more virtual meetings and so on.
If you're on the fence between candidates, not whether you should vote or not. I know some people don't, understand how powerful that their vote and their voice truly is. Mm-hmm. But I think anytime Trump has a chance to speak, I think he shows his true colors, and you're either for what he's saying or against it. Unfortunately, he tells a lot of untruths and just blatant lies, which it's hard for the general public, who maybe is not so much into politics, to filter through at times. But I definitely think Trump should keep talking, so he can just keep, letting people know exactly where he stands, and that people can hear it and make their decisions based on that.
For the second debate, they were going to do it on virtual, but I keep reading on the news that he was afraid that his mic might get cut off, because just to kind of go back to what Johnsteven was saying about virtual, but
Yeah, he didn't want anybody to be able to mute him is the point. He wants to be able to talk over people and stuff like that. And I just feel like if Andy Cohen can host a Housewives reunion on Zoom, we could have had a presidential debate on Zoom. But unfortunately, I don't think he has the maturity. Obviously, he doesn't show much restraint in letting other people speak. He tries to speak over them. So I'm certainly not surprised that he didn't like the Zoom format because he doesn't want to be muted.
Mm-hmm. I see. So which America would you want to say a message for? The America 4 years ago or the current America? I guess we'll start.
I guess go first.
Yeah, Valerie, I was gonna say Valerie can go first.
I mean,
well, choose one. Choose one. I'll do the other one.
Okay. No. Yeah, I don't know if anybody would have believed, 4 years ago what's happening now. I feel like I kind of had an idea of how bad it could be 4 years ago. Like, I'll never forget going to bed on election night and just hoping like somehow I would wake up and it just would not be true.
Yeah.
But alas, it was, and here we are. So I think a message maybe to myself 4 years ago would be to get involved now, start right now, start paying attention now. And I think, I'd have a 4-year head start.
Yeah. And I think for on my part, for now, I would tell myself, you're doing a good job. Don't rush everything, because I tend to rush everything and I want everything to just be real fast because I'm like oriented, like I want to get things done real quick. So I gotta trust the process. I'm doing a good job right now. It was kind of like a pat on the back for just getting involved when I didn't have to, because that was my choice. To get involved with people, to get involved with Radical Registrars, meeting up with awesome leadership from different organizations, that if it's from Black Lives Matter movement to the I Am Vanessa Guillen movement, to just getting more attention about why voting is important, So 4 years ago for me, it was like, dang, like I wasn't that involved, it wasn't my decision because I didn't decide at that time. But then right now, this current present moment, then it's like, I'm happy that I got involved. And I would say, this was the year where even though we were as a whole earth, like we were limited because of the pandemic and having all these social injustices, I think that every phase of this year had a reasoning and a purpose. So I just feel like we shined a light on it. So even though it wasn't, it's not gonna be like the perfect way to shine the light on it, but it got lit somehow, no pun intended. So it did reveal true people's intentions, and like people still don't understand to this day what is the difference of our rights and our privilege. So that's still another topic, that we still need to share to the community. Like, do you know your rights, or do you know what privileges is? You know the difference, because they're not the same. That type of thing. So that's what I would say, just to wrap it up, about this year, like not from 4 years ago, but to its current state in 2020.
And I'm so happy that, that Johnsteven and I met. I think I've met nothing but amazing people throughout this whole movement. I mean, I literally, like, I've gone through like a whole kind of metamorphosis this year, and I don't have all of my friends today are new friends that I have met through this movement. And I've just been open to it's opened so many doors and opportunities for me. So I'm just super grateful, even though this year had literal that it's, and there have been some beautiful things to come from it, and I think this movement has definitely been one of them. So I mean, my message to 2020 is just take care of your mental health. Black Lives Matter, whether you like it or not. And we're not stopping until until I know my son won't be in the streets doing this when he's my age.
Right. And I guess for me to wrap it up is like, because we're like, right now it's minority, but we will be the majority in a couple of years, in a few years, but majority's lives will matter. So like, yes, Black and brown, anybody that's not white supremacists of culture, we will be the majority already. We do want to, get advocacy for our military men and women, because they do matter. Yes. We also care about other cultures, because they are equivalent as us as well, because they are important. And Yeah, so especially just to shed a light to the Afro-Latino community because they shouldn't have to feel they're stuck in the fence right now. So through the movement, through like my personal years of being a student, then I was able to see different many cultures outside of my own culture. So knowing that it's okay to be biracial or multicultural, and break the stigma, go date somebody else that's not in your culture because I would do it. I have no shame in that. But yes, protect our Black and brown people, our communities. Yes, and let me see. And also just to shine a light that with all the injustices, it wasn't just in America, it was all over the world. So hashtag Lavina Johnson, because she was the only one whose case was reported overseas for military sexual trauma, MST. So every time I get to shine a light or interviewing or whatever, I always speak her name and Vanessa Guillen because all of them were important, especially for Lavina Johnson. So
yeah.
And that's what I want to just wrap it up like that. I want to say that with the Radical Registrars, even though there is like people, started the group, it is community led, it is membership led. Like if you become a deputizer or you're helping out with somebody that's like, part of Radical Registrars, you are part of the group. So I was very fortunate and blessed that I got to meet with Valerie through the protest and just chatting with her. And then literally the day that I got deputized, we went together to like an outdoorsy like hipster bar. I guess I forgot the name,
Elsewhere
but it was
bar.
Elsewhere bar.
Beautiful bar here.
Yes, it was here in San Antonio. So that was the first night where I got initiated. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then we actually went to get people registered, and we got 9 people registered.
Yeah.
We got total 9 people registered. So
man, that's good.
It was awesome. So ever since then, we keep in touch, and I make sure that she's safe and she's important because her life matters.
Yeah.
Yes, protect our Black and brown women. Yes.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, and especially combined collectively, as y'all mentioned that that y'all, like I said, that combined collectively, y'all have, especially from all the way from like, was it June? Was it that you got so many people to vote for? That's really admirable. That it really is. So that's something to that's something to really be that's something really admirable.
It was a team effort. I am so in awe of the Radical Registrars and all these people who literally came together as strangers with one single purpose in mind. It's been absolutely beautiful, and I'm so completely grateful for all of these amazing humans that I've met. So it was absolutely a group effort. I mean, these people were out that deadline on October 5th. Radical Registrars are at the election office pretty much catching people who missed the elections office. It closed. And so Radical Registrars were out there getting people registered. We had people literally driving to people to get them registered just to make sure they got in before that deadline. So
that's awesome.
We really went all out. We really tried to get every single last person we could. And it was a complete group effort. So I said, super grateful for everybody that I met in this whole thing. And we're not done because we're going to get through election day, and then we got another election coming up in May. So we're going to be right back at it again, getting people registered to vote and making sure that they're voting informed.
Yeah, keep up the good work, and you get for those of you who are watching, you heard it first. Please be informed and vote. That's important. That's the most important thing. But speaking of voting, let me ask the ultimate question as to why you guys are here. Let me ask this right now. Why is it important to vote? Go ahead.
Valerie can go first.
Yes.
Voting is important for so many reasons, but literally politics affects our life in every way, shape, or form. Unfortunately, politics is involved with our everyday lives. And it would be ridiculous of you to allow somebody to make decisions about your life and you having absolutely nothing to do with them. Everybody can't wait to be 18 years old because you're grown and you're an adult and you can do this and you can do that. But what you can absolutely do is vote and be involved with these processes. I think especially people of color, we have to remember that the racial majority, they know it is their God-given right to vote, and they do it every single time. And the people in office reflect them. The people in office reflect the people who vote the most. Yeah. And so it's very important to vote, and vote locally, and vote every single time, and vote informed, and know who you're voting for, because you want to be reflected in the laws and the people who are making these laws and passing legislation. I don't know if people know that Javier Salazar, the sheriff of our Bexar County Sheriff's Department, he's up for re-election right now. That is an elected position. The DA that decides if cases against police officers who have killed an unarmed person, that DA is an elected position who decides if people are going to get tried or not. The judges that you stand in front of because of a minor weed, getting caught with a little bit of weed, and that judge decides to put you away 4 years, but puts Tanner on probation, those are elected positions. So you should be involved in those, and it's not enough to do it every 4 years. That is actually like the least you're doing is voting every 4 years, but voting locally, like I said, every single time is just so important. And also that literally we've been fighting for this for hundreds of years. And when I say hundreds and hundreds of people were killed for this right for us to vote, during the Reconstruction time, Black people would literally be massacred before elections and during election times. So we just need, as people of color, as marginalized communities, be it Black, Hispanic, LGBTQ, like our literal rights are at stake. Like, it was just passed in Texas that social workers can discriminate against the disabled and LGBTQ. Yeah. Our governor of Texas is disabled. It makes no sense. So this is why we need to vote. Our governor is also going to be up for re-election in 2022. We just got to pay attention to these things. Why it's important to vote.
Yes, that part. Yeah. I guess for me, I would say like I was involved. I am so involved with voting, but I just felt this year I got more involved than like I would normally do, because I know like, okay, yes, go vote. I would be at the voting polls, getting my vote in, because I voted maybe once or twice, during like election times and stuff, because I was over 18, whatever. Yeah. But now, so it's like I want to be informed when I go to the polls. That's the one who I can vote for and do the research. But thanks to Registrars, then I have the information on a piece of paper and I can take it with me. So for me, it's just getting involved, not just with the every 4 years, but get involved with your local elected officials, because that's like a domino effect. Like if you overlook the local governments in your community, then that impacts the state and the federal. And also with voting too, it is your God-given right to vote. Like nobody shouldn't threaten you. You shouldn't feel insecure. If you feel any of those things, then take them out. Just bye poo. Like get them out of your life. Like that's not right. And there's even a law saying that like you shouldn't feel threatened or like harassed because of your right to vote. So it doesn't matter who, whatever. As long as you go out there and you vote, then that's the most non-violent way to take action is voting.
Yeah, that's all the time we have for TJPS. Thank you for being here. I'm JP, and please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the official TJPS YouTube channel, Twitter, and Facebook page, and of course, Radical Registrars.
And on their bio, if you click on their bio, they have a Google Drive, and it has like the big counties in Texas. So find your county and make sure you look at the research, because they did the homework for you. So take advantage of the information and go take it to the polls.
Yes,
there, what he said. I'll put everything in the description below. This episode will also be available as a podcast version on the Anchor app. This means it'll be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, except Pandora. I will work on that if I can. Thanks for watching. Valerie, thank you. Johnsteven, thank you as always. And we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.